cafe anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Isn't it amazing? A podcast that's done daily, kind of, sort of. What's amazing about that? I don't know. Mike's Daily Podcast is that it's got a cool song to it, and this is that song. If you like it, here, come along with me and sing along. It's great. What you do is you sing about aerobic exercises, and that's really something that despises a lot of people. But it increases the flow of oxygen to your muscles, so Mike's Daily Podcast. Who's gonna protest that? So many other things to protest in this world. Why protest that? Mike's, I don't know. Daily. It's episode podcast 2469. Yeah! The last podcast had Lovely Lady Friend on it. And the last podcast had a wonderful picture of clouds hanging over Podcastro Valley, as did the previous podcast, episode 2467. Both of those taken, I don't know if I guess it is called Redwood Canyon. Redwood Canyon in the Podcastro Valley area. And we're at Cafe Anyway in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. Thank you for listening. So, trying to get aerobic exercises going in your life is important. I know I try. One of the ways I've helped myself is I live in a hilly area. So if I want to take a walk somewhere, I'm going to be walking up a hill of some sort. Also, I have stairs. Oh, and also I take the stairs at work. And that is only because some nice person finally gave me a key after all these years to the stairwell. Nowadays, everything is locked up tight, especially in California. You never know who's coming into your building. I remember one time at some place I worked, I'd get to work at 5 in the morning. I'd go use the restroom, and there'd be a guy living in the restroom. That is definitely not a uncommon sight.
And here's today's podcast picture.
In the Podcastro Valley, or the Bay Area at least. Hey, the podcast picture today is of Oakland. I took a nice walk through Oakland, downtown Oakland today. On a Saturday morning, what fun, around 10 o'clock in the morning. Saw a lot of cool stuff, very interesting. I have not walked around downtown Oakland in a long time. I got my car from there, my used car, that had less than 50,000, around 50,000 miles when I got it. And now the radio doesn't work, and that's upsetting. The late, great Basil the Boxer was never in that car. He knew and loved the Saturn. And sadly, the Saturn became inactive around the time I lost Basil the Boxer. So he loved that car. We went so many great pictures of Basil the Boxer in that Saturn view. And of course, Saturn is no longer with us either. That company is gone, so. But I still see Saturn views on the road. And it always warms my heart when I see one, as well as when I see a boxer. Did not see a boxer in downtown Oakland today, though, but I saw a lot of other dogs, a lot of, what do you call them? Shiba Inus. And, Doodles, Labradoodles and all kinds of doodles. Poodle doodles. Isn't that just saying the same thing twice? I don't know. Cafe, I don't know. Cafe anyway. A lot of Boston Terriers and French Bulldogs and all kinds of wonderful dogs and people getting coffee. There are so many coffee places now in Oakland, downtown Oakland. Mom and pop owned places, no chains. I didn't see a single Starbucks or Pete's. It was all like chains I'd never heard of. Not chains, but looked like locally owned places. And lots of farmers markets going on, a lot of tents setting up. And there were big clouds over Oakland today, so it kept it nice and cool. It's probably warmed up a little bit. I'm going back to Oakland actually a little bit later on today, but so I did my walking around. Don't know exactly if I was going aerobic, but allowing your muscles to work longer with aerobic exercises, flowing those important oxygen components to your muscles. This allows your muscles to work longer, helping you do more activities for longer periods of time. These exercises include walking, using a treadmill, and swimming. swimming is probably one of the best. Now, using a treadmill, to me, is one of the worst. Now, you may have adapted to treadmills. I have never been able to adapt to them. I don't like them. I guess a lot of people like them because they feel instant achievement. They see the reward right away. They see what they're doing. I would rather just see things, see landmarks, see people, see stuff. But daily activities can also be aerobic. These activities include walking your dog, which I did for a long time with the late great Basil the Boxer for a good decade. Doing housework, vacuuming, that burns some calories. Sweeping, raking outside, playing with the children. People forget playing with the children. That burns so many calories. And you wonder, you remember as a kid when, okay, time to eat your lunch. Oh my gosh, that was such a chore. It was never like, oh, I can't wait to eat. It was, oh, I gotta eat. Mom's making me eat. I want to be out playing. Why can't I be playing? It's all about we forget about playing. We forget about all the fun we had as kids and the importance of play the older we get. We just do. We get so wrapped up. All the responsibilities. It's so easy. This world just has a ton of responsibilities in it. And it engulfs you. But we can't forget to play. And I guess we can't forget to eat. Some of us remember too often to eat. I remember one comedian saying, I have a friend that says, oh, I forgot to eat. How do you forget to eat? But some people do. But if you eat too much, of course, that's the other side of the coin that's not so good. But eat the right things, of course. Have the bad stuff in moderation. But experts say to do regular moderate activity and or vigorous intensity activity. And there are some ideas for both types of those activities as we go outside a cafe anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast.
Anyway.
Somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. This podcast is extremely helpful today. You can boost many of the moderate activities to a vigorous level by doing them faster or harder. Things like a brisk walking. You can do light to moderate calisthenics, like home exercises, back exercises, getting up and down from the floor. But of course, you want to do that properly and consult an expert. A lot of people have different theories about, for example, doing sit-ups. That sit-ups is not good for your back. There's a lot of things that you can do to hurt your back. So be careful with that. Do your research on that before attempting it. But low impact aerobic dancing is good for you. And if you want to, of course, make it more high impact, that's up to you. Jogging on a trampoline. Wow. That sounds like a disaster ready to happen. Weightlifting, bodybuilding, light to moderate workout on gym equipment like Nautilus, Universal machines, rowing machines, the Peloton thing, and all that other stuff. Oh, water exercise. Treading water with moderate effort is fantastic exercise. And you have to do it when you're in the pool. Unless you're standing on the floor below of the pool, you're treading water and you're burning calories. And if you live in the snowy areas, shoveling snow burns a lot of calories. And children's games like hopscotch, foursquare, dodgeball. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. And then digging in the garden. Washing the dog burns a lot of calories. Sweeping the garage, sidewalk, patio. Washing the car with vigorous effort. Sweeping, vacuuming, mopping floors. Carrying groceries upstairs or boxes or furniture. Of course, again, watch your back. Watch how you lift. And all these great ideas I got from Vitality. I don't know if your company does Vitality, but they had a bunch of great tips from HealthWise Staff Medical Review is where that came from. A lot of family medicine type people wrote that from Healthwise. All right, outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. Look who's here. Hi, Matt. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How y'all doing?
It's a disgruntled fiddle player. Tell you what.
What?
You said you saw some farmers markets today in downtown Oakland.
Yeah, lots of them. Lots of farmers markets, fresh fruit, people selling jewelry, that kind of thing. I didn't know that was part of a farmer's market, but apparently that kind of thing.
Yeah, you know, that's how I got to playing the fiddle, was I would play at the farmers markets.
Oh, right. And then you started hating playing the fiddle.
Yeah, I do hate the fiddle. That's why I'm disgruntled.
Uh-huh. Look who else is here.
Oh, my God, make the list swoop your house to my
Oh, that's really good.
Drink it right now, okay?
Uh-huh. Next show, it's going to be the wonderful Madame Rootabega, Valentino, Bison Bentley. Oh, you know who did it in that Midsummer Murder? It was the lady that looked like Sarah Michelle Gellar. Of course! It's always that character. She ran a place called The Hub. It was the only internet access in the small town in England, in the Midsummer region of England. So everybody went there to use computers, and she was unlucky in love and lusted after this one guy, but he went after a younger lady, and she felt scorned. And she felt scorned by many things. So she decided to kill people dressed as a wolf. And that was the name of the last podcast. What's today's podcast going to be named? I don't know. Cafe, I don't know. Cafe anyway. But we will soon find out, won't we? So tell all your friends, and you can give me a call and tell me what you think about what we were talking about. Or you could tell your friends instead. Either way, you can do this. Call
now. 336-MM Daily.
Yes, 336-MM Daily. 3 plus 3 equals 6. MM as in Mike Matthews. Daily as in what this podcast has been now for a couple of days. Try to keep it daily. Sometimes I get interrupted. You know how that is. Okay. And you can also email me with info on that. A-Frames here.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!